He's trying to fix the problems that she's bringing to him. He thinks just listening to what she's saying is the best way to deal with it. But really what he should be doing, or had already been doing, he's been planning in this important but not urgent, what are his relationship values? What kind of response does he want to have the next time his wife becomes anxious again? Because this is definitely not the first time or the 100th time that she's had this anxious kind of whirlwind go on.
Yeah.
And so if you could give me an example, this is a tee up. We talked about this before the show. Give us an example of in our life where we had this kind of anxiety situation, if you will, come up. Not exactly the same, but so go ahead and share that with us. Be a little bit vulnerable, and I wanted to share that on the show. So,
well, yeah, it's kind of an example of you really setting a frame and holding a frame. That was really very powerful for me. And what was happening is, every time we would have kind of a terse discussion, or I was afraid that you were
good. terse discussion. Yeah.
I was afraid that you were angry with me or disappointed, or that I had really messed up. And that's kind of been my pattern of the go-to place. Like, if a partner gets frustrated with me, doesn't want something different, needs to set a boundary with me, there was this immediate, like, anxious, almost like little girl response of that means that they're not going to want to be in relationship with me. And so every time, like, you would bring something up, there would be a boundary, there would be a discussion, I would often, like, kind of get very anxious or dissolve or collapse. And you could have, in that situation, tried to just be verbally, like, reassuring, oh, it's okay, and no, it will be fine, this doesn't mean our relationship's over. But that would not have solved the anxiety I was having, because the next time something arose, it would have been the same. Okay, but maybe this is the time it's gonna end. And you said to me one day, Cynthia, I really need you to have an anchor for yourself, that when we have conversations, or that you are triggered in this way, that this relationship is solid. And you were basically saying that, this is a conversation and it's separate from, life or death to the relationship. And you were asking me to hold on to that anchor, hold on to that frame, as opposed to constantly looking to you to affirm, like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. So how did that hit you? Did it hit you one way in the moment? And then over time, what has that done for you?
In the moment, it was almost felt like I was maturing in the moment. I felt very in my body, and there was this, like, oh, and that immediate trigger response was suddenly kind of disengaged. And there was a sense of trust and like something to lean against. And it's I feel like it's helped me have more stamina since then, with knowing that there's things like, that we would talk about that someone might be disappointed or frustrated or need different or set a boundary. It's like, oh, this is just a discussion, and it's not me going to be, like, whipped away into the ocean with nothing to hold on to.
Oh, that's awesome. So can I ask, I don't believe that I said this is just a discussion. The last thing you said was this is just a discussion, but I didn't say that to you. I wasn't trying to tamper down the emotions that you were having. It was a recognizing those and, hey, let's funnel that in this kind of a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Were there key energies that I had? Using this as a teaching moment, right? Even though it's a little embarrassing. Were there key energies that I was giving off? My goal was not judgmental. My goal was, this is how you handle things. This is who you are. Mm-hmm. This is triggers that you're working through. And wanting to set a framework for how we can move forward when these things happen, or when we have discussions like this, to set up a framework so that it's not catastrophe, doesn't feel like catastrophe
right
every time.
Right.
So are there certain key energies there, certain key tools that you'd recommend to a guy?
When you said, I need you to do this, it felt like you were putting your stake in the sand, and it was like, I get to be included on this journey. I'm not being dismissed from this journey, and I have a job, and there's a step forward that you need from me. And so that was like, oh, this is how I move into this third entity space. This is how I show up. This is how, this is what's there to hold on to.
Very cool. So would you say that that's a third phase, the ask phase? So a man really needs to be doing well with the stop fucking up, grow your own value and depth in yourself, right? And boundaries for yourself. And that, what I said there, would that be in the ask phase, so that a man understands, like, day one, if shit's hitting the fan, that's probably not going to go super well. Okay, so can you tell us why maybe that is? Yeah. What has to be there for that to go the way that I was hoping?
I think if it's like day one, if you as a man are asking her, like, or saying, I need you to do this, she already feels like there's so much she has to do, so much she has to deal with. It just feels like, oh, this is one more thing I'm supposed to do. And why aren't you doing anything? That type of thing. So it's that third stage of ask, because you've already gone and you've gathered like your worth, your frame. And there's no kind of, asking for her to validate. And you're coming to her with your intense love. So it's not it doesn't come out as criticism. It's not you're saying one thing, but the face is kind of scrunched in another thing, where she's going to receive mixed messages.
That was awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah. Just wanted to be clear. So that's a stage 3. That's a stop fucking up, grow, and then ask. That's an ask phase type of situation. Men have been asking about how to do more in the ask phase. And that's a great example of, I can't be judging her if I was doing that. My body language can't be giving a different message. I need to be calm and know that we're going to move forward from this. That's why I'm asking, I need you to have an anchor when we have this type of discussion, and then share my vision. Mm-hmm. Because I look at this as a forever. I look at this as we're growing this third entity. And for that entity to feel safe, I need you to have an anchor for yourself.
Yeah.
Talk about this.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.